sent into the Rebbe. The Vad L'Chazor Azdach sent into the Rebbe. This is the Sikha that we're going to Chazor. An amazing thing happened. They never thought about this. The Rebbe sent out the Sikha Mugen. The Rebbe looked over the Sikha, made a few notes, fixed a few things, and all of a sudden, for all these years, nothing is Mugen. Here's a Mugen Sikha. They got all excited, and the next week, they sent in again. And guess what? The Rebbe was Magia again. Now they're really not excited. No one is excited. And they worked hard and prepared the Sikha. They sent in the third Sikha. Father says, there's no answer. He says he's sitting in Zal upstairs. I personally don't remember who the third guy was. I know him and Nachman. And Rabbi Chadakov comes into Zal and he looks at them and he says, "Come in, I need to speak to you guys." They come into Chadakov's room, Rabbi Chadakov's room, and he said to them, "You guys sent in a Sikha to the Rebbe?" He says to them, "Do you know that on the Rebbe's table there's a pile of letters?" This is we're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, this is stuff Shin Chesed. A pile of, and a lot of them are questions of Pikuach Nefesh Mamish. Do you guys think that the Rebbe should take time and be Magia Sikha when so many people are waiting for Mamish? L'chaim v'lamobis, for Pikuach Nefesh Mamish.
Wow.
My father always said he doesn't know what got into him.
Wow.
But maybe almost like the chutzpah, whatever it is, he turned to Rabbi Chadakov and he said the following things.
Wow.
Das is Eichet Pikuach Nefesh.
Wow.
The Rebbe being Magia the Sichas is also Pikuach Nefesh.
Wow.
Till that point, my father didn't realize, and the others, that maybe he's talking in the name of the Rebbe, what's going on. In front of them, he picked up the phone, dialed the Rebbe, and he said, Zogt, Ados is Eich Pikuach Nefesh.
Wow.
They almost wanted to chalish, you know. Father says he was going. I should have opened my mouth. Who knows what's going to happen now?
Wow.
They walked out, and he said for the next few hours he didn't know what's going to be.
Wow.
They're sitting upstairs. Rabbi Chadakov later in the day calls them in, and he hands them a mugi d'kesich.
Wow.
From the Rebbe. And that's it. And from then on, besides a few stops here and there, it's mugi d'kesich. Amazing. Chaim l'chaim. Chaim l'chaim. Tavshin Memtes Neighbor. Quem bateu Tavshin Memtes Gimel. זוכר גימל? תavshin Memtes. Zeig zurück mir ab, sagt mir. Orgel von Helferheim. Dein Tate ist in Marokko, aber kann nicht kommen. Kommen Kampagnen in Israel. Unmöglich. Ob sie da, als von Marokkaner Jiden, das haben gelernt in der Meister. Und da bin ich, und sie gehen alle Stimmen Schaas, Gemmel. Gemälde, da fängt zu kommen, sie der Mann, wo sie haben getrunken, wo sie haben gegessen. Gemälde, could you come? I wrote in, the man said, yeah. And then a few days later, my brother Mendel also went. That Shabbos, they arranged for me to be in Neibrak. In Neibrak, there was a krutze deal of Svavische Chevre. I remember met some of them that are sitting and learning in Akela, the Hagisa, but they all started in early Yitzchak Lubavitch in Casablanca.
Wow.
There was a Yid, I have no idea where he is now, the File Atzu. It's very close to my father, that's why I stayed on Shabbos. He tells me I ate by him on Shabbos. So he says, around 10, 11 o'clock, there's going to be a bunch of guys coming here because they're all waiting for their families to go to sleep because their families are, that time, Shas was campaigning very, very hard. Says, but I invited all these people that learned in all the Yosef Yitzchak, they should come and meet you. Around 11 o'clock, slowly they coming in. There was someone in Rabbi Eliyahu. They told me Rabbi Eliyahu learns Shas. And he's like day and night.
Wow.
The other one, big base. They're all, we're all sitting there. And I'm thinking myself, what exactly I'm going to tell them? What? We're sitting there. Out of the blue, this Rabbi Eliyahu that's by this Sfarshim was considered. צמה לך נפשי, תתחיל. Okay? So I started to sing צמה לך נפשי. I finished צמה לך נפשי. He says, who Elokeinu?
Wow.
So I look at him, what are you talking about? Yeah, okay. So זה מה שאבא שלך ניגן איתם. And it started, one song after the other.
Rabbi Eliyahu is the Rabbi Roshi now.
Who?
The Rabbi Eliyahu.
No. That's what Eliyahu, whatever his name is. And we started because my father would have Shalashudas. He had a special thing, Shalashudas, he would have with the Bachim in the yeshiva, all the Yosef Yitzchak in Morocco, I remember like today. He would sit with them, sing with them songs. It was an amazing thing. And they started to remember all these songs. And slowly one gets up and says, Im lo ole Yosef Yitzchak, Im lo Chabad, Im lo Rebbe, each one of them. Lo היינו פה, מה היה קורה איתם? So I took already the opportunity and I says, סלאס Hashem, אתם יודעים מה שקורה היום. And now we need everyone to sting you. And they're looking at me and says, what you're asking from us is very, very hard. And the guy, this Rabbi Eliyahu says, I am a Reish Kollel, my Kollel, that is supported by Shas and all this. And how can I do that? And I'm sitting on the side and debating between themselves.
Do what?
And they made a decision that they will all vote Gimel, but they're not going to tell their wives.
Wow.
But the whole thing, all of a sudden, the memories are coming back. So I remember one of them turned to me, Rachamana de'ani. I'm looking at these guys. These are all the songs that he would sing with them and try to. But the thing about Motzei Shabbos, that Shabbos was very, very wild in Neibrak. Very wild. Heeft zich op een kleufje.
Veel zelfs ook.
Een kleufje, wo een kleufje doen. Huh?
Dat läuft nicht, ich lasse das nicht.
So,
Vikkinus.
some guy is walking around, from these guys, walking around with a tape. And a tape of the Rebbe, how the Rebbe is singing some of Hanafshi. And the Rebbe is then saying, Nafshi ukroidi. First of all, Mulek Rifkin came, and how they managed. You have to understand how wild the situation was. They managed to get a wall. This is Rechov Rabbi Akiva. And he's showing videos from the Rebbe. Then the place is going crazy.
Wow.
You have the Getter and the Chassidim.
Mulek Rifkin, er hat erledigt, der Reuter Libero.
The Reuter Libero.
Er hat es erledigt. Mulek afscher ik dinge Mulek.
Oh, you got all that. That's
Ja,
solid.
aber kennst du es du? Der Reuter Libero auf in Flatbush. Zalmen.
Solid, it's a
Ja.
I also remember, like today, there was a Sifa also. You know, remember then it was Degel Atayr they were called. This is when we were by the Megillah, when we say Ha'etz, not only on Haman we bang, we also bang on Ha'etz. But anyway, I remember like today, I didn't know later, we saw, I was standing there, and they showed me, because he lives on that street, Steinman. We walked out of the room and the window of the house, and we were taking him to a special gathering. You can only imagine how tense the situation was. And they walking around to make fun of us, of the Lubavitchers. Look how the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Zogt ab dich, Nafshi Koid. You think this?
Oh.
I didn't know this guy then. I didn't know this guy, but he was standing there. They couldn't understand who this guy is, with his pious, with a hat like this. And he's arguing with them how wrong they are. They couldn't understand. Mr. Lubavitcher, who are you? You think it's Muhammad? Huh? You think it's him? It was a whole night. It was an amazing, unbelievable. But then, you know, I was already in Vermont, and to see such a, I don't want to say the word, such a scenery, such a hatred,
Wow.
it was an unbelievable. Yep. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Volcano.
We should be able to bring all this down, mamish, and like the year that I mentioned before, I'm still, dear Rebbe and God.
Wow.
He lost the book. He thinks, tell me, Rabbi, you think there's something wrong the way I'm writing it? So, how's it going? The Rebbe answers you? Yeah, wonderful. He always answers me. Okay, why do you want to change?
Wow.
We don't even come to that kind of an understanding. We don't come to that kind of understanding. A few years ago, this same guy was sitting complaining, and the Al Chachamim we had me, my son-in-law, and the other thing knows I'm in Drutches. He gets up and says, it's very simple. You write to the Rebbe answers.
Wow.
Period. That's it. We should have that kind of understanding, that kind of hargosha.
Right.
Chaim l'chaim. אני completely לא, אין מילים.
Oh.
That's it. Ay, 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 In the Sikhs of Tafshin Memhei, there's no question. I was a young Bachar then. I was not Bachar then. I was already married, Tafshin Memhei. But I remember, I was there by the Chablengi Vistamos. It was kind of a shock. Nobody knew. Most people didn't know that the Rebbe called in Agudas Chassidei Chabad, and he spoke to them, and he told them very clear, if nothing is going to happen about his Geneva, he'll have to speak about it for Rabbim. Most people didn't know about this. Most people didn't even know the Ishtalshelus Advarim. Today a lot of things are known, how this began already from around Yishvat. You will know him. It's also a chutna of mine, Yitzchak. But Yitzchak Bilhan was appointed to be able to arrange the Friedrich Rebbe's library. I think he began already in Tafshin Mem. He was working. And Chaim Lieberman showed him which is the important Sfarim. He had a whole shelf. What is the Chashiv Sfarim? And he started to notice, I'm almost sure that's in Adar, maybe end of Shvat, or beginning of Adar, started to notice that something is missing. Something is missing. He was employed by Vada Binyan. Vada Binyan was Chaim Baruch. He's the one that put him into work there. He went to him and he told him, Epes schmeckt nicht gut. Chaim Baruch came up with the idea to put in cameras. It's not like today. In those days, it was a revolutionary idea to put a camera. And there was a huge machine that had to cover it in garbage bags, figure out where to put it. But anyways, the machine is there and it starts to record what's happening. And Yitzhak will, and every day would go and see what's happening the night before. I'm almost sure it was a Sunday morning in Nisan, in Adar. First earlier on what he saw was Chaim Lieberman himself taking a sefer, whether he brings it back, and no suspicion. He worked at the Friedrich Rebbe's library, where, by the way, he still used to go into the Rebbe and talk for hours. There's one time, I think, he was by the Rebbe till 12 past 12. There's a Ma'ariv that was by the middle of the night, past 12 o'clock. Anyways, but this time when he watched, he saw very clearly this person, himself, he's taking. So the writer realized that this is only Shbasei. He told Chaim Baruch, and Chaim Baruch said, this is something that he has to inform the Rebbe's. It became very clear the guy's taking is not returning, so it became very clear to them this is way beyond the regular scope. In the beginning, I remember my Chut and Yitzhak once told me in the beginning they thought it was a Chassidish Gneva. Some Lubavitcher, some one of our guys. That's what they thought in the beginning, big deal. But when they saw who it is, Chaim Baruch went and he told the Rebbe. And the Rebbe told him, give me a day, come back to me tomorrow. And she obviously told the Rebbe. One of the things where it's like, well, it's interesting. Levinson said she's not surprised that he did it. She wasn't surprised. Okay? Took, I understand, Bedas Tachten in Sivan. I think till about Sivan time, that's what the Rebbe was told. That's when the Rebbe called in 2 weeks later. He called in Abu Chabad, and he told him that because the Rebbe said he tried on his own to do a few things, maybe to do a shot, whatever, and if nothing is going to happen in the next few weeks, he'll want to have a choice, and he's going to have to speak to everyone on Yibei Stamos. The Kachav. And one of the very strong points that the Rebbe spoke about bombs. When you take these Sfarim, it's like having bombs. I remember these words, how dangerous it is. The Rebbe was very worried about the Baal Shem Tov Siddur. He was very worried about the Baal Shem Tov Siddur. Baal Shem Tov Siddur, there was, what I understand, there were 3 suitcases. 3 suitcases that the Frierdiker Rebbe wouldn't depart from them. The Rebbe spoke about this, how this Sfarim...
Er genommen das genommen Schank.
Hat nicht genommen. Aber der Rebbe sehr mehr gehabt. Gerät wegen dem, was sagen. It's interesting, when the Rebbe, there was a whole chimadan, a whole suitcase of all the ksavim, and more or less of the Rebbe Rashab, Frierdiker Rebbe had with him all the time. Whenever we went, he went with it. One time, when Frierdiker Rebbe traveled to Israel, he gave it to the Rebbe. How do we know that? The Rebbe himself said it when Yutes Kislev Tafshin Lamed Zayin. When Ayin Beis, the Rebbe then said, he says he doesn't know why the Rebbe trusted him, so he gave us. But he says the Frierdiker Rebbe, by giving him, so he knew for sure Mistrame wird machen a copy from all Ksavim. And the Rebbe made a copy of all the Ksavim.
Wow.
You have to understand what does it mean, a copy in those days. A copy in those days wasn't so simple. Today it's a whole different story. You can make a copy with your phone and other things. A copy in those days was like a Kodak phone or something. And he was to take a picture, large, this.
Wow.
And this is what they made a picture of everything.
Wow.
It's very interesting what the Rebbe said also in that month. I don't remember which one the Rebbe spoke about it in Bistamuz, Balak, Pinchas. The Rebbe said he was very worried about the Baal Shem Tov Siddur, but here's a very interesting story about the Baal Shem Tov Siddur. One time the Rebbe said it himself, he never knew why, and now he understands why. One time the Rebbe called him in, this is when the Rebbe is already in New York. The Rebbe asked him, could you please do me a favor and copy all